Hi, good morning. This is Dave Rosa from Flat Fee Tax Relief. Well, welcome to our website, flatfeetaxrelief.net. Our tax pros have been in business, well, this company, for more than a decade. We've been doing this, myself, attorney David Isaac, and the team, for 15, 16, 17 years. We welcome you here. Please take a look at the different categories that we have important information for you regarding non-filed tax returns, innocent spouse, the Fresh Start Initiative, stopping a IRS garnishment on your wages, stopping a bank levy, penalty abatements, installment agreements with the IRS. All of these things are covered on this website. We try to provide you with as much information so that you can be an informed consumer, so that you can get your IRS tax problem resolved once and for all. Okay? We also have a section dealing with our blog. We have an extensive amount of information there. Some of it you might find a little redundant because, an IRS garnishment is an IRS garnishment, but there's a lot of information. You probably will get an answer to your questions there. And I want to tell you a little bit about us. Okay? Now, every client that comes to our team for help is represented by a tax attorney. Now, this is important. Okay? It's nothing against enrolled agents or CPAs, but this is all we do. Okay? We can, if you're missing a lot of tax returns and need to be compliant in order to resolve your issues, then we can expedite those and get them done. We have people on staff that are expert at quickly getting tax returns prepared and filed. Also, as far as levies are concerned, an IRS wage garnishment, it's a levy. We routinely have those released and stopped within 24 hours. Now, that's not 100% of the time, but it's pretty close to 100% that we can get it done. There must be some really bad underlying reason why we can't get an IRS wage garnishment stopped and released within 24 hours. A lot of times we can even do it if you haven't filed your tax returns. Okay? The IRS has worked with us enough that they know that when we call them up and let them know that we represent you, that they can count on us to getting those tax returns prepared and filed in a timely fashion. They will give us a drop-dead date, a date in which we must have them in, okay? And we will. Now, the other thing is bank levies. If all of a sudden you go to your bank and your money's no longer there, and you've been hit with an IRS bank levy, there's 21 days for you to get that money returned to you. Otherwise, it goes to the IRS, and it's nearly impossible to get it back once they have their mitts on it. So the 21 days includes Saturdays and Sundays and holidays. So you really don't have 21 days. You have 21 calendar days, but not 21 business days. So if you get hit with a bank levy, you need to expedite action to get your money back and have that bank levy released. Okay, there's no time to waste because the IRS is going to want to know information about you is going to need to be provided. You don't have any time to lose. But we are expert at getting those bank levies released. Now, penalty abatements. Penalty abatements is another thing that we can hang our hat on. Penalty abatement is the waiving of the penalties that the IRS has assessed to your tax debt. It can be a considerable amount of money. As an example, failure to file. If you haven't filed your tax returns, the IRS has a mechanism called a substitute for return. They create a tax debt. If there's no tax return, there's no tax debt. So they create it. Give you no deductions, pile on the penalties for failure to file, and voila, they have the authority to now go after you with a levy, a lien, or a bank levy, a wage levy, bank levy, tax lien. All right. Once they do a substitute for return, SFR, they have the authority to enforce collection. Okay? That compounds your problem. It can be resolved, but time is of essence. Once again, time is not your friend if you let it linger. Okay? You need to nip these things in the bud. Also, innocent spouse. If you're divorced from your spouse and your spouse was doing things that you were unaware of and you just signed your name to the tax return, yes, you are responsible. But the IRS, if it's brought to their attention and presented correctly, has the authority to sever the injured spouse, the innocent spouse, from the tax debt. It's not easy to do, okay? It's not automatic that they're going to do it. In fact, it's very difficult. But we do those items, all right? And of course, currently not collectible. Now, that can be used in a variety of ways. If you owe less than $10,000, you're not eligible for an offer in compromise. So the next best thing is to getting placed into currently not collectible status. What does that mean? It means you're not going to pay the tax bill and the statute of limitations will continue to run. This will decrease the amount of time that the IRS has to collect your bill. Usually it goes for 12 months to 18 to 24 months before the IRS comes back and says, hey, how much income you making? Do you need to stay on here or can we take you off and start collection action? Okay? Now you can be placed back into it. Statute of limitations continuing to run. It's possible you stay on currently not collectible status and you never pay the bill. It just goes away because they have 10 years to collect the bill. All right? Now, if you owe $10,000 or more and you're currently not collectible, I suggest you do an offer in compromise. Why? The IRS has already declared you don't have the ability to pay the bill. You're only a non-collectible because you haven't done an offer and the bill stands. So the IRS can pull your currently not collectible status. As the statute of limitations is running down, they can do that. All right? So if you owe $10,000 or more, you're currently not collectible, take the next step. I always use the analogy if you're running a marathon and you're winning the race, all right? And you've run, I don't know how far, what the times are in marathons, but it's at least 3-4 hours. If you're running a marathon and you're within 300 yards of the race and you decide to quit, What have you done? All of that effort has gone down the tube. If you have the ability to finish the race and win, why don't you? Well, that's kind of like being currently not collectible and not doing the offer in compromise. You ran the race and then you stopped. Still have the debt. All right? Didn't complete the race. You didn't win. Run the next 300 yards. Complete the project. Be done with it. Okay? Now I'm going to have a sip of coffee because it's early in the morning. Mickey. And I'll continue our little discussion here. All right? So we do currently not collectible. And then, of course, there's the big kahuna, the holy grail of tax relief options, and that is the offer in compromise. Now, an offer in compromise is an actual settlement of your tax debt. You must be eligible and qualified. What does that mean? It means that you owe $10,000 or more, and the last 6 years of your tax returns have been filed. That means you're qualified and eligible to settle your bill if it's more than $10,000. Now, if you are Jeff Bezos or one of these big tech oligarchs, you can't settle your bill. You have too many assets. But if you're an everyday Joe, you don't have to be destitute, all right? You don't have to be homeless or anything like that. Just an everyday, ordinary Joe or Jane. And you make enough money to get by, but don't have anything left over. You are a prime candidate to get your bill settled. And then you can walk away from it. Okay? Be free and clear. Now, how does this work? I'm going to give you an example. We get many phone calls, people asking about it. I'll be the first to tell them, no, you're not eligible, if you're not eligible. But if you are, man, you should do it. It'll be over in 10 to 12 months. During that period of time, the 10 to 12 months of the process, the IRS will leave you alone. I'll give you an example. You make $5,000 gross income per month. You have no assets, or you have assets that you can't access. All right? You pay $1,700 a month in rent. Well, I'm going to subtract that $1,700 from the $5,000. Now you're at $3,700 per month. You have a car payment. We'll say $500. Well, that's an allowable expense. If you had a Maserati and the payment is $1,000, no. They're going to give you $500 or a little bit more than that, depending on what part of the country you live in. So I'm going to subtract the $500 from the $3,700 that we have left over after your rent. Excuse me for 1 second. Lose my little voice here. So now we're down to $3,200. Now the IRS will allow you $200 for upkeep of your car. Insurance, oil change, maintenance, $200. So now we're down to let's see, we're at 37, 32, now we're at 3. Now, are you single? Do you have any dependent children? Say you have a child at home, okay? You're a single mom. You have one child. So you're going to get about $900 and some odd dollars for food and clothing for 2 people, all right? We were at $3,000 left over. So I'm going to subtract $900 for food and clothing. Now we're down to $2,100. right? We haven't taken out any money for income tax, state income tax, FICA, anything, all right? So we're going to take out $900. So now we're down to $2,100. How much do you pay in utilities? Utilities can be expensive, okay? We'll use $300. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. We're just going to use it, theoretically, $300. Now we're down to $1,800. That's how much money you have in your pocket. All right? Now, do you have health insurance? Yes, I do. But my employer pays part of it. Good. But how much do you contribute per month? Well, I contribute $150 per month on my health insurance. Good. Okay? We're going to subtract the $150 from the $1,800. And now you got $1,650. Well, you don't have a lot of money left over, do you? Now, there's other expenses you can have, medications, okay? All kinds of different things. I would say what you need to do is settle your tax debt. All right? You don't have any money left over. By the time Uncle Sam, the state, FICA, all these other, they take their money out, workman's comp, you don't have anything left over. You're tapped. The IRS knows that. Now, the IRS will settle a bill. A lot of people get upset when people settle their tax debt. Whoa, how come I can't do it? Well, you're in a better position. Plus, the IRS recognizes that every year they get new tax debt coming in. It's a never-ending process. And they need to clear the Deadwood. Okay? By Deadwood, I mean that the tax debt that they'll never collect. They realize they're never going to collect this bill. All right? Move on. They want to do two things. Put a win in the dollar column, and if they can settle a bill for $100, $500, $1,000, and by the way, those payments can be put on a payment plan, so you don't need to cash all up front. We can settle the bill, put you on a payment plan, and you're done. Now they want to clear out, back to the, I got off on a tangent, but that's okay. The IRS wants to do two things. Put a dollar win in the column so their percentages of collections are there to show Congress that they're doing the job. The other is they want to close a file. They have plenty of files. They want to close it. They want to move on. They've got other things to do. All right? That's the other reason why they'll settle a tax debt. Now, I've gone through that on other videos, the process of an offer in compromise, and I'm not going to go through it here. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what our team of tax professionals will do for you at Flat Fee Tax Relief. Now, we charge, and have always charged, one flat, very affordable fee for our services. The amount of work that goes into these projects is the same. It hasn't changed. All right? There's no reason why you've got to pay $3,500, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for the same amount of work that it was 10 years ago. Just doesn't make any sense. We charge one flat fee. We will stop a levy, all right, included with the offer in compromise or tax resolution, okay, because you may not be qualified for an offer. We may have to put you into something else, either a very low payment plan or currently not collectible. But for the same amount of work, we charge $2,050, okay? We don't ask for that all up front. If you pay it all up front, we'll give you a discount, then it's $1,900. But all we ask for is $250 for the initial fee. And then we put the rest, the $1,800, on 10 monthly installments of $180 a month. We think that that's very, very affordable and reasonable. We know if you're here looking at this video, you don't have a lot of money to play with. We understand that. We've been doing this for a long time. We're going to know your financials. We understand. Okay? If you have a tax debt, unless you're a criminal, most likely it's because you just don't have the money to pay them. Okay? You've been robbing Peter to pay Paul, as the expression goes. All right? So, we offer a free, no obligation consultation. You can call me up. The number is 866-747-7435. Give me a call. I'll go over all of your information with you. It's about a 20 to 40 minute conversation. Okay? 20 to 40 minutes. That's all it is of your time and mine. It will be well worth it. Okay? All right? It really will be. Even if you do not decide to become our client, you'll become extremely, extremely informed about what your options are. We don't bug you. We don't chase you around saying, gee willikers, how come you're not doing this? It's your choice. It's your tax debt, not mine. I'm not going to chase you around to do the right thing. That's your individual choice. Okay? You have free will. Okay? So I'm going to close this out. And I want to thank you very much for watching. And if I can be of service, once again, flat fee tax relief, 1-866-747-7435.